Once again, this is kvci.blogspot.com. That is keeping Valdosta citizens informed. I received a call a few minutes ago down here on Troup Street, North Troup Street, at a local club that we have been reporting on over and over again. I understand that a young man was shot in the head. I don't know whether it's in the front or the back, but the point is that he was shot and killed. We believe him to be a black African American, and this is a community that has been plagued with repeated problems here at this particular club. I have filmed and I have reported this particular club, and you can see on YouTube many things that have happened, certain things that are against the law. And what I do not understand as a concerned citizen in this community, as a community activist, as a retired military veteran, as a parent, single parent at that, is why is it that license was granted and still in effect for this particular facility? It's just unbelievable. But we're going to leave that as it may. I understand that the crime scene has remained the same from where it was last night, I understand, or this morning. And we are sure that people are going to be gathering here. But this is the first clip that I want to cut. I want you informed. Sometimes we don't have the news media to tell the story. But now I believe that something must be focused on Valdosta. Valdosta are leading the state of Georgia in jail deaths. Valdosta is leading the state in jail deaths. And yet none of our elected officials are saying anything about it. And I do believe that it is indeed time for somebody to look at Valdosta. As you know, we just had a black man to be, we found a man dead in the Laos County High School. All of this needs to be looked into. And so we're just reporting here, and this is the way it looks. And I'm going to show you some more clips here. We're on North Troup Street in the city of Valdosta, Georgia. Once again, this is KB. Today is January 13th, 2013. This is the same club wherein we had problems before. As you know, I stood in front of this particular club. They had problems here before wherein a young man were arrested and pepper sprayed, I was told. And so what happened was, it seemed as if though nobody revoked their license, and we understand that a young man was shot in the head last night. We're not sure if this is what happened. I'm sure you will find more out about it. But once again, this is George Boston Rhymes, and this is kvci.blogspot.com. On YouTube, I'm Boston G.B.R, which means keeping Valdosta citizens informed. Once again, this is George Boston Rhymes. I do believe in your right to know, because this is what we do. Too often we hear, but we don't know. Things happen, but it's not reported. And I was told by someone that there's a great possibility that the body remains behind that black cloth. I'm not sure, but it is what it is. And here we have at least 150, 200 people on the scene. The president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, Minister Floyd Rose, has just arrived on location. He looked. Councilman James Wright called me, because James Wright have been in the forefront of trying to get to the root cause of the problems here at this club. If you check YouTube, you will find out certain acts such as drugs. You will see money. You will see different things on the scene. Bye-bye, we go. Today is January the 13th, 2013. We're on North Troup Street, near the food mart. They have crime tape up here. A young man, black African American, shot in the head. We know that this club have had many problems. What we don't understand is why is the city allowed to operate? Why they didn't revoke the license earlier? Councilman James Wright just a few days ago talked to the mayor, Mayor Gale, about it. I have recorded in front of this club. You'll see it on YouTube, Boston G.B.R. is much like the death that occurred on Oak Street Extension that I just reported on last week. It's just like the 31 jail deaths that we've had in the Lowndes County Jail from 1994 to 2009. Nobody seemed to care. And from 2009 to 2013, we don't know how many people have died in the Lowndes County Jail. We hear about the spiders biting people in the jail. We hear about the women being in the old part of the jail. It's just unbelievable how so much can go on, and yet we watch our police officers. They doing a good job, but they also park and give out traffic tickets when we believe in the Black African American community and poor white community that they may serve the people better by actually driving more through the neighborhoods instead of just giving traffic tickets. It is indeed time now for our elected officials to step up and start meeting the needs of the people. Now, I don't know what happened here. I really don't. But there's one thing that we do have on video and on YouTube, that there's a pattern and practice that our elected officials, the mothers, the fathers, the sisters, the brothers, the churches, and all of us can do more. And so I think we all are to blame for whatever happened. We must make a difference. I just went to Lowndes County High School. I was called the other night when the young man was shot, Kendrick Johnson. What the family was not even permitted to ID the body. I think that's strange. Once again, this is KBCI.blogspot.com, George Boston Rams. Bye-bye. Be gone. Once again, we see Harrington's Funeral Home coming to the location, and so we just suppose that there's a possibility that the remains still are there.
You can't get the word. Call money. Money always takes the word. Money down here in the word.
Well, this is going to conclude it for me. Just another day. Well, this is going to conclude it for me. Just another day. KBCI, keeping fellows and citizens informed, George Boston Rams on the north side of Troup Street, where we have and so, what's your name up here?
My name is Chris Musgrove. I direct a school assembly program called Future Now.
And why are you out here today, and what do you want to see accomplished, or what do you think?
I was contacted by Councilman Ryan, and because I do some programs in the schools and the local community and work, we just did a camp in Orly West, and I see that us coming together as groups, churches, and individual members taking the time to work with these individuals. I know they're talking about closing this place down, but they're going to find another place together somewhere. And I've got two young men I was sharing with today that I've worked with for about a year now. They're both 20 years old. Neither one of them had a driver's license. They didn't have a job. One just got a job. The other one's working on it, about to get a job. They both got their driver's license, so they've got some hope. It's about vision. I heard somebody say, if you don't know where you're going, you'll take every road. The Bible says in Proverbs 29:18, without a vision, my people perish. And drugs, alcohol, premarital sex, gangs, violence, all not partying is a symptom of a bigger problem. They don't have a plan. They're not going anywhere. and I've seen it affect these two. So if everybody just took an hour a week with a young man or a young lady, I think it would make a difference. And it's going to take us all coming together to put this together. And I think this is a start today.
Right. Okay, I'm going to ask you something. You could ride up these streets anytime and you'll see people sitting on the steps, and you ask them, why are you on the steps? And they'll say, I can't find a job. Or they'll tell you that I have a felony conviction. Or they'll tell you I've been in the crime system, I'm on probation, and nobody will hire me. And I have child support, and I'm from a dysfunctional home. But let's not focus so much on a dysfunctional home. Let's deal on the problem. Some of them want to, not all of them, but some of them want to work. They want a second chance. They can't find that second chance. They got child support, probation to pay. They can't pay it, and so they may think that the easiest way to do it is to go out and commit crime. What do you think the community is trying to do collectively to address the issues of unemployment? People want to work and can't find work. I mean, laying all religion, you can't leave religion aside, but let's just, we done highlighted that. What is being done in real world situations, you think, to address the lack of income?
I think they've got to be given an opportunity. Everybody's got an opportunity. And I listen, I'm working with two young men that didn't have any kind of record. They were not pretty long lives that couldn't find a job. It's just taken a long time, connecting with people, hard work, being patient. And I know sometimes people, you got to be persistent. And I know sometimes that's hard, but I don't know what else to do to say, just to be persistent. And it is going to take a bunch of people coming together to help create jobs. And these young men had never had a job, so they wanted to know what kind of experience did you have.
Okay, now more, I want to ask you another question, because this is something I talked to Commander Childress a few minutes ago. We stood here today mostly adults, if not all of us. The young people, for the most part, I don't see them here. So we keep talking for the young folks. But when or do you know of anything being done to get young people to come together and tell us the problem and impediment that they are facing? In other words, it's two worlds. There's a world that we live in, and there's another world that these young people. Who is listening to the young people? Do they have a platform? Does the news media come out to interview a man with a felony on the street who's sitting? What is being done to hear from them? We know what we think, but what do they think?
Well, and this has been good for me. I put myself into that situation. Listen, I thought I knew something. I've gotten education from these two young men, and I see what they're experiencing, and I've listened to them, and they said, you know, if I don't get a job and I don't get out here, I'm going to start right into this thing. And they're going to be a casualty. So what you're saying is true. I appreciate what you're doing to help get the information out there. We need that, and that's what it's going to take. We almost need to have a coalition of young people come together.
That's what I talked to Commander Childress about. I really want to spearhead. I ain't got to spearhead, but I just want somebody to call a meeting and let the older folks sit in the audience or put them on the stage, but let the young people take the podium, give the mic to the young people. Let us hear what's on the young people's mind. There's a possibility that if we had somebody that listened in many of these steps, they had listened to the young folks and find out their world. We know about our world, and we know the world that we have in our head that we think is their world, but their world is not necessarily our world. And so I want to get inside of the young people. I want the young people to come together at a meeting collectively and tell us older folk what they are going through about impediments, felonies, probation, these aspects of life that we can only imagine what they're going through.
You really can't, you don't know how to pray. You need to sit down with them and loved on them. But I'm going to give you my information. And I'll get yours and we'll stay in touch.
Well, I thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Once again, this is kvci.blogspot.com. George Boston doing what I do because it needs to be done.
It clearly documents the AI, the city AI, analysis of impediments to fair housing choice, clearly documents what others have said here today. You know, as again, Pastor Musgrove, he stated these are just mere symptoms. I agree that these are mere symptoms, drug dealing, because I've been out here. You know, I've been not perfect. We all have sinned and fell short of the glory of God. But again, if we're not reinstated, given chances in these communities with these low income, unemployed, it's stated in the city analysis of impediments that high unemployment, high poverty, these conditions just go left unignored by the city leadership here, city council, mayor, and others that can help impose job bills, job-related opportunities that will encourage development and opportunity to these low-income people. We'll get $400,000 a year, which is not a lot of money. Community development improvement to help deal with some of the impediments. But my thought, we begin to use those dollars to make housing, decent, affordable housing, economic opportunities that can be afforded to these low-income people. Public housing resident. As you see, this public housing resident that just only walking distance from this crime. And I think that again, the core problem is economic development being denied. Being denied, as I said, a long, systematic form of discrimination by the city here to deny a protected class African American citizen. You know, it wouldn't happen. But again, environmental justice people, we are a protected class and we've been denied economic opportunity for years. 1968, this has been a law and it's been around. But if we don't begin to reach out and look at all our brothers as one, not just black, white, green, and yellow, but we got to find some way to get some cohesiveness in this community.
We're still with Lindsay Mobley down here, and he has one other thing else to say. Come on with your other point, bro.
Real quickly, I want to say it's not about me. Speaking here today, it doesn't matter. It's not going to change what happened here. But what I'm trying to do is hope that it's from my kids. I got a 14-year-old, 13-year-old, 13 and 14. It's not about me. It's about them. It's opportunity for your kids, my kids. You know, because see, I mean, my life, I'm 46 years old. So it's not about me getting up here, getting in the limelight. What I'm hoping that we can make it better for our kids and your kids.
Okay, KVCI, Brother Ryan, we're going to close this out. What I want you to say or give me your expressions on is, how do you feel about the impediments that G.B.R. brought up? They identified many problems in this community, and you seem to be on top of it. You have written to DOT as well as 40 Marietta Street, Atlanta, the Georgia HUD office under the federal government. Why do you keep doing what you do? Give up in terms of trying to redirect some of these millions of dollars to the low to moderate income families and contractors? Why do you keep doing it?
President Obama spoke to the Black Caucus meeting, and President Obama worked with them, quit complaining and join the march behind him to fight for jobs, economic opportunity. He said black needs to quit